Breadcrumbs. It just occurred to me as I was filling up the soap and, kind of getting things tidied up.
I don't want to be a
Breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. I think I think you automatically know what I'm talking about when I say that. So the reality throws us breadcrumbs. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? What it does, it throws us the breadcrumbs to chase after, and I will admit I started chasing after it. Kind of. I didn't start chasing after it, but it was just enough to kind of keep it a lingering thought in my head, where when something unique or spiritual happens or seems to happen, it it kind of gets presented there, and then you start like thinking about it, and it's kind of an exciting thought. And what I'm referring to specifically is the dreams we just recently talked about, right? Uh, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, Rudy over at Post Nostalgos is the name of his channel. Shared a dream, and I just happened to be in the dream, kind of like not someone in the dream mentioned me by name in the dream, and and asked if Rudy knew me in his dream, and so it turns out our dreams were interestingly uh, had it around the same time, and with very similar, uh, you know, different dreams, but a very similar format or template where both the dreams were about some authorities had taken over, and we both found ourselves in kind of a predicament where we're trying to resolve something due to that authority establishing themselves with their presence and exerting that authority. And we're both somewhat kind of in defiance against those things that were happening. And right off the bat, you think about that, like how astounding that is, how highly interesting that is, that those dreams were, you know, I don't know if you could say carbon copy, but they were definitely, they shared the same template, or framework or whatever word you want to use. I mean, it's almost, I mean, we didn't have the same dream, but it's too similar to say, to just brush it off as something coincidental, I guess. Now, and at the same time, though, you know me, right? It just occurred to me that, like, in the past, I would like start looking for like answers, like surrounding it, and over the years, I had created a pattern where I looked for signs. So let me tell you what happened, over the past couple of days. Like yesterday, they started uploading videos of the MK Ultra, uh, or let me put it this way: they had the MK Ultra hearings, or an MK Ultra hearing, and that's personal and relevant to my experiences, right? And just in general, when you think of MK Ultra, let's just go a little bit meta here, and what is the subtext with MK Ultra, right? What is the subtlety or the meta of MK Ultra? Well, a lot of people believe that they, not only like brainwashed people and did mind control on them, there's also this element where people reference psychic kids or people with psychic abilities or people with abilities, right? And typically, and we're talking about the meta, right? So if MK Ultra is depicted in a story, like in a movie or a TV show or in some tale, there's always these stories about the psychic ones and the ones that had the abilities and stuff, and so that is a concept that is associated with MK Ultra. So that, when you go meta and you link that to, you know within this context, then it's sort of like a relevant fractile, right? So yesterday we were talking about these dreams, and that was Wednesday, and at the same time I started seeing the uploads of the full MK Ultra hearing, same day, right? And then I was thinking about this too. Here's another thing, right? So here's another thing that caught my eye too, caught my attention, right? On top of all of this, the MK Ultra. So wait, before I get into that, so MK Ultra, I'm thinking like it's kind of like meta, or it's kind of connected to what we've been talking about. It's like because they're authorities, right? And they're involved in mind control, and the meta is the psychic kids and the psychic people and the abilities and stuff. So that would be the mystics. That would be us, kind of like, right? So I mentally, there's the part of me that wants to follow that, like, oh yeah, that's, totally relevant. Something's unfolding here. That was where my mind was beginning to go. You know, and in the past, I would look for signs, and I'd have like freaky anomalous coincidences and or synchronicities, like freaky ones, right? Like abnormally abnormal, like. And then anyways, so then, uh, over the past couple of days, also, and I did not think about this either until this afternoon or this morning, sometime today. I was thinking about this too. People were talking. I had a good sleep last night. I haven't had a lot of good sleep. Okay, I haven't had a lot of good sleep over the past year, I guess. Um, but I woke up early this morning. And I was like, man, I slept pretty decent compared to other nights. Right, got to bed at a good time, slept pretty decent, and I woke up and I seen somebody comment about how like CERN, and I've been seeing this over the past few days too, but was not paying attention to it. But CERN has closed down CERN, the particle accelerator, and they've had it closed down since the 29th of this month, right? It's been on since 2009, and they cut it off like Monday, right? And so this is where I don't know, okay, but I want to say that my dream was on Monday, right? Unfortunately, I can't verify that because I didn't pay much attention to that dream, although I thought it was highly interesting when I woke up from it. And it residually stayed in my mind like, what an odd dream, because it was so interesting, right? But I kind of forgot about it, too, because, I just let it go. But then Rudy mentioned, at Post Nostalgos mentions that he's had this dream, and then so that brought the dream back up, and I'm thinking, well, what if, like I was saying in my other video, what if like, in the spiritual realm, if you want to call it that, what if, and I gave this analogy. Let's pretend like we're actually connected to a simulation, and our ears are still hearing in the real world. Our ears are still hearing what's going on, and there's whispers of a takeover or a new faction being formed, or a new leader, or new positions of authority and power are being constructed, and maybe old ones are going out, and perhaps our ears physically heard it in the real world, assuming we're connected to a simulation. our ears heard about it because it's news stuff people are talking about, and that manifested and got filtered through our subconscious and came out in the form of dreams, which is why Rudy and I both had a highly similar dream. Um, and and so I pitched that hypothesis, not even a hypothesis, just a thought, just a something to think about, and um, and then so I started connecting the dots. I was like, man, like seems like I had that dream. It was fairly recently. I was like, maybe it was Monday, the same day that they shut down the particle accelerator. But like I said, I don't know. Or even if not, even if it's not that, right? Um, Monday that I had the dream, I know that I've had it at least Saturday, or when I woke up Saturday or Sunday morning, something like that. It was that close, right? Um, it was a very very recent dream, but even if it happened before the particle accelerator got taken down, right, or cut off, even if it happened before that, um, you know, perhaps what we overheard, just throwing this out there, is the new authorities cutting off the machine, right? They're like, no, you got to take this thing down at the spiritual level, at the is what I'm saying. Like in the spiritual realm or the real world, maybe we did overhear them say, like there's a new order, and and maybe there was like a new authority in town, and they said, hey, we got to cut this particle accelerator off, and but wait, today's Thursday, so that wouldn't be related to my dream then, because not my dream, my sleep. That wouldn't be related to my sleep because last night is when I had the good sleep. So see how your mind can just try to jump to conclusions and assumptions. So anyway, kind of caught myself trying to quote unquote figure it out. Kind of caught myself chasing the breadcrumbs. It's all this shit is, all this stupid shit is the reality sending us dreams, sending us MK Ultra hearing, CERN particle accelerator shut down, like all this at the same time. Come on, man. It's just like another distraction, and it wants us to chase the breadcrumbs. And it sounds so cool. Doesn't it sound cool though? Doesn't that sound really cool? That's why it sends. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. In reality, I don't know about Rudy, but stuff like that is like when I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, it really lights me up, and it makes me go, oh man, oh shit, oh my god, we had the same dream. Oh, the MK Ultra files, the particle accelerator. Oh man, it starts getting my gears are turning, and it makes me a little bit excited and thinking like, oh man, it's only a matter of time before I'll be like using telekinesis to lift this flower off up in the air with my mind. But in reality, and then something's going to change, and and we're going to see the real shit. We're going to merge into the real reality. Something, I don't know, like I'm going to develop powers, or I'm going to meet a certain person. My life is going to change like this, and in reality, everything's just going to stay the same. It's going to stay exactly what it is, and that tells me, for me personally, to just continue down the path that I'm on, not chasing it. Unfortunately, and that's what sucks about it, because I want to chase it. I want to be able to say, "Ooh, man, this means this," and so only this thing could happen next, and that thing, and But I'm gonna, and I was filling up the soap containers, and I was like, breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. This reality, the dark reality, wants me to chase the dreams. I know I'm repeating myself. Wants me to chase the dreams, the MK Ultra, the particle accelerator, and try to make sense of it all. When and that's what sucks about it, is that that sounds so fun and so cool. Like years ago, about a decade and a half ago, I was manifesting. I was searching for like powers, like see what kind of like time travel modalities, or shifting into alternative dimensions, and shifting into a reality where I meet my twin flame or soulmate. I was uh, doing all the spiritual stuff, like, thinking to myself, eventually we'll develop telekinesis. Eventually we'll develop our ESP, extrasensory perception, and then we'll develop powers to read each other's minds, to teleport, to uh, teleport, to jump, transition from dimension to dimension, to timeline, and all this stuff, and manifest things out of thin air. And I was on that trajectory, of like, and all these crazy things are going to happen, including the material, like to some extent. Not that I was pursuing material things. What I mean by that is like I had a vision for my future I was going to work towards. I'm gonna, and my house is going to be like this, and I'm still doing that though. You know what I'm saying? I think it's okay to have like a regular, grounded, healthy goal. Like, so, you gotta have something to motivate yourself, right? Unless you want to be like all Buddhist and just be like in bliss and not do shit. Like, oh yeah, see, I'm in bliss. I'm just happy. Yep, I'm just sitting here. Don't got no goals. But I'm in bliss because I've accepted everything. Like, I'm not. I like to be use things, to motivate me, like things I ideally would like. And I've already lived it to some extent. I've already had a truck that I really loved, but I'm not attached to it, if that makes sense. So I had a truck, and it was a 1991 Silverado, and it was a six-cylinder, five-speed, six-cylinder 4.3 engine, which is perfect for a five-speed, full-size truck, extended bed, again, 1991. And I just loved my truck. Like, I never, the novelty, you know how things are novel and they're exciting in the beginning and then they wear off? Like, I never got tired of that truck. I legitimately loved that truck. I loved owning it. I loved having it. I loved driving it every day. Like, I loved that truck. Um, and in my opinion, that's not being materialistic towards materialism. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that I genuinely just enjoyed, right? And it was an old truck, and it looked it looked kind of beat up a little bit. Not too bad, but my point is it wasn't like the best looking truck. But man, let me tell you, like, I loved having that truck, and so likewise, my aim, when I'm saying that I'm aiming for the like certain things, like, these are things that I know are going to be like that truck. Like I know I'm going to be content with them. I'm going to love those things. When I had to let my truck go because I got in a wrecked it into a tree, brakes went out. When that happened, I was like, I was not happy, obviously, but I knew I had to let it go, and I was okay with that. So does that make sense? So anyways, I guess what I'm going to do is just continue moving forward. I'm gonna let all this shit go, right? Obviously, not like I was like, oh, deeply, like I was mentioning earlier. It's not like I'm like really immersed into this. Like, I'm not all like fully invested, but I will go through these phases sometimes, just like that, where I'm like starting to get excited. All these things are happening. Oh man, something's a brewing. But in reality, it's that motherfucker's throwing breadcrumbs, man. Fuck. Anyways, god damn.